Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for December 13th, 2012. Of course, it is a Thursday morning. It's 8:50 a.m. and we are still rather chilly out there with temperatures ranging from the upper teens to mid-20s over the interior and upper 20s to lower 30s along the coast. Of course, our warm spot is in Philadelphia at 36 degrees and our cold spot is in Messina at 19 degrees. It's rather chilly out there. With clear skies pretty much in place, high pressure is in control with a north to northwesterly wind around 5 miles per hour. So for the most part, we're dealing with rather tranquil weather conditions in place. As you can see with the latest radar, we do have a storm that is developing off of the North Carolina coast, but that is going to remain out in the Atlantic. For the most part, we're dealing with dry conditions, even back towards the eastern Great Lakes, with tranquil weather conditions in place and high pressure in full control. Now, this is the infrared satellite picture. Notice we have our storm here. Now, this storm is going to be very important. I'm going to show why in the water vapor satellite picture in just a moment. But this low pressure system is going to continue to exit out to the east-northeast into the Atlantic and remain well off of the New Jersey coast and produce some rain and snow over the New Jersey coastal waters. We have a very strong high pressure system that has set up from basically the northern New England, St. Lawrence River area back towards towards the Tennessee River Valley and mid-Mississippi River Valley. This high pressure system will be in control through Saturday with tranquil weather conditions expected. By Saturday evening, we'll see an increase in clouds and even the potential for a few scattered rain and snow showers as a new low pressure system starts to develop off to our south and west. Now take a look at the water vapor satellite picture here. Here's our storm that's exiting off in the Atlantic. We also have another vigorous storm developing over the central Atlantic and a powerful storm to the south of Greenland. Now these low pressure systems are going to combine to create what's called a negative NAO pattern, which basically means we have winds converging over Quebec and over portions of New England at the upper levels, and that leads to a very strong high pressure system developing right around Quebec. Meanwhile, this disturbance right here is going to track across the southern interior of the country and then redevelop along the mid-Atlantic coast by Sunday night into Monday. Now, this low pressure system is going to have to be watched. Now, let me be very, very clear. If you're in the New York City or Philadelphia metropolitan area or along the immediate coast, this looks like just like a rain event. The cold air is not really in place yet. We're getting there, and I'll show that in the model guidance. But for this particular storm on Sunday night into Monday, well, the cold air is going to be delayed. And as a result, those along the coast, even with this high pressure system in a very nice spot, you're still going to be a little bit too warm to see any frozen precipitation because your boundary layer temperatures are just too warm. And this low pressure system is not creating its own cold air. However, if you're in northeastern Pennsylvania, if you're in northwestern New Jersey, the Hudson River Valley, just to the north of White Plains. If you're in central and northern Connecticut, this storm bears watching. Now, this doesn't look like a major winter storm, but there does appear to be a threat for some freezing rain here. And as you know, it doesn't take much freezing rain to produce a problem. So we have a pattern that is starting to evolve, and we're starting to see it right now, where the blocking setting up in the higher latitudes will support the potential for an ice event. Perhaps a marginal one, but still, again, you don't need much ice, and also some accumulating snow for northern Connecticut as this storm develops. So we're going to keep an eye on that over the next several days. Here is the latest model guidance from the Penn State EWOL website, an excellent website for all your model needs. Now here we are this evening. You can see our blocking pattern starting to set up. We have a low pressure system, upper level low, setting up to the south of Greenland. Now this is not a perfect negative NAO pattern, but you still have the high latitude blocking. You still have convergence and confluence over Quebec, which leads to our high pressure systems developing over southeastern Canada and over the St. Lawrence River Valley. As you know, high pressure is going to be in control. We're going to have a very nice day with temperatures pretty much seasonable for this time of year, lower to mid 40s, perhaps even just a few upper 30s for highs over the interior, mid to upper 40s along the coast. Tomorrow, basically rinse and repeat, with mid to upper 40s along the coast, lower 40s over the interior. High pressure is in complete control. And as you can see, our pattern in the northern Atlantic is setting up for our high pressure system to be sustained over the St. Lawrence River Valley. By the time we get into Saturday, we start to see everything set up. We have our low pressure system, our new upper level low set up around the Aleutian, not the Aleutian Islands, around the Maritime, the Canadian Maritimes, and around Newfoundland. Meanwhile, we have higher heights developing over Greenland. We have a convergence and confluence over Quebec, and here's our high pressure system, a very strong one at that, setting up. You can see that the high pressure system is ridging down the coast. Now here's our low pressure system developing. By Sunday, that low pressure system will start to redevelop and shift towards the coast. Now the way I see this, and this is not a heavy precipitation event at all at this time. The way I see this setting up is we're going to be seeing waves of scattered showers. Along the coast could be a little bit of snow mixed in, but no accumulation, mostly rain here. Over the interior, notice, let's zoom in on this right here. You see this kink right here? This is what worries me, especially on synoptic models. They typically do not handle low-level cold air very well. But when you start seeing this little kink here that you're seeing over the Hudson River Valley, well, that's usually a signature for the potential for ice. So again, if you're in northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, the Hudson River Valley, and much of interior Connecticut, keep an eye on this storm as it develops. By Monday, you can see our low pressure system is organized nicely off of the mid-Atlantic coast. You can see again that CADE feature, cold air damming feature on the pressure guidance here. You can also see our high pressure system locked in over Quebec. So here's our low pressure system. Here's that cold air funneling in. Again, you're seeing the same type of cold air signature funneling in at 850 millibars. This is not cold enough for all snow over the northern interior, especially over northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, and much of the Hudson River Valley. But it is a signature that I would suggest freezing rain or sleet. So again, something to keep an eye on as we move into Sunday into Monday. We're going to have more data and more information on this storm as we move closer, especially tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, of course. So keep with NY and JPA weather, and we're going to have more information about this storm as we move forward. Once that storm exits, it sets up our next storm. Now this one could be rather interesting along the southeast coast. Right now, taken verbatim, this looks like pretty much a rain to snow threat for the immediate coast and potentially a moderate to heavy snowfall over the interior. However, there's a lot we don't know about this storm. We don't know about the boundary layer, the temperatures at the surface. We don't know about the exact track. And we also don't know about the high pressure placement because we still have a lot of questions about the first storm. So let's not jump the gun yet. It looks like it could be a major storm. At the very least, with the development of this storm moving up the mid-Atlantic coast and over the New Jersey coastal waters, unfortunately, it's going to bring the threat for some coastal flooding for New Jersey's beaches and also for Long Island and portions of Connecticut. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that, considering the way that the New Jersey coast and Long Island coast right now is in a state in. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that for sure. But there's going to be a threat here for some significant snowfall for the interior here, and maybe even the coast. Right now, I still think this is a rain to snow threat with very marginal snowfall accumulations, if any. But it won't take much to change that forecast and bring that cold air in, especially with all that cold air setting up and waiting over portions of the St. Lawrence River Valley. So this certainly is a storm to keep an eye on. Once that storm blows up and heads up into the Canadian Maritimes, very cold air starts to drop into the eastern United States. And here we have winter returning with very cold temperatures. Again, the heart of the cold air is focused where? Over the northern plains and the Great Lakes, just as forecast. But we are also going to get rather chilly as well. So that is your forecast for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.